Yes, well,
she was trying to put Raymond to shame.
Almost doesn't.
That doesn't take much effort to put Raymond to shame in terms of dancing.
It depends on what kind of dancing you are doing.
Yeah.
Yes, if it's godly dancing, I know that's what he's going to say.
If the
next.
topic is dancing, then Raymond lives in perpetual shame. Good morning, Raymond. It's good to see you.
I know how to dance very well.
To godly music.
I'm very competent in dancing kitty.
I hosted your wedding. This is false. All right, so let's very quickly go through the newspaper. It's great to see you all.
Okay.
Good to see you.
I'm starting with the Business and Financial Times. And on the front page, the Private Enterprise Foundation lauds paperless ports but wants action on non-compliance and downtime. Spanish government supports 30 entrepreneurs. Importers turn to smartphones for quotations, making globalization work for Africa. Failure of government policies due to poor engagement, as according to Nana Kumia. And World Bank supports the Odor River Basin project. I'll be bringing you more on that story a little later on.
The Gold Street Business has government business groups negotiate African free trade implementation to avert possible shocks to local industries. 70% of Ghanaian motorists don't have ECOWAS brown card, though they pay for it. 3.9 billion targeted for collection under ESLA.
Now, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning, President commissions a Suboi, one district, one factory. This is not now, by the end of June. But Accra floods, falling wall kills mom and a child. There's one about the 5 Karachi DC attackers have been arrested. Another one about South Korea giving priority to Ghana. And there's a meeting, which will also happen in the future. The Electoral Commission is going to meet former presidents.
Sounds interesting. That's the Daily Guide, right, Raymond? On the front page of the Chronicle, battle over $217,462 judgment. Debt, Catherine Afeku thrown out, fails to prosecute fraud charge against 3 Americans. Murdered Gapoha manager was not sexually assaulted. That autopsy report is finally out. Ghana growing more rice to cut down importation. That's according to the Minister of Agriculture. And witness contradicts plaintiff in Daintra Palace case.
Anyway, the Ghana growing more rice is on the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. Ghana to export rice by 2020. That's Ifria Kutu floats plan to save $1.5 billion a year in rice imports. Wrestling champion calls on Akufo-Addo, let's do more to fight corruption. That's ex-president J.A. Kufuor urging journalists at the GJA anniversary launch.
The Final is reporting this morning, Ghana exports 400 million food items. We are getting some 3.3 billion generated at the farm gate in 2018 alone. There's one about ex-president Kufuor denying, asking for licensing of journalists, and there's also another about seizing opportunities on the African Continental Free Trade Area. This is the Business Development Minister speaking to fresh entrepreneurs.
All right. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, yellow fever outbreak alert. Ghana, 26 other African countries risk future epidemic. That's according to the WHO. Use your skills to support government to achieve Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Dr. Awal, who is the Minister of Business Development, speaking there again. Ghana records increased disaster incidents in the last 3 years. Parliament bears teeth at one-man churches. And on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Cabinet approves redevelopment of the Ghana International Trade Fair Center.
The Daily Graphic newspaper has a banner headline, I will investigate reports of shoddy work. That's President assuring in respect of one village, one dam. Seglemi Housing Project, Parliament approved $200 million for 5,000 units. That's Atachia, who is a minister there, saying Bedrock Insurance Company inaugurated killer driver fined 1,200 Ghana cedis. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, Equiapim North Assembly secures land for alternative livelihood program. The last story on the back page of the graphic, Rotary Club renovates 37 military hospital children's block.
Now, the New Weekend Crusade Guide is reporting this morning, Australia visa scandal. Government paid for the plane tickets for the fake players represented there. And also Ghana to attain sufficiency in rice production. This is by 2022. That's on the front page of the New Weekend Crusade Guide too.
That story also on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer, as well as brouhaha over one village, one dam, as Akufo-Addo promises strong action, and other stories also on the other papers.
Okay, right, let's settle for some details. And Raymond, which paper had the story about the Accra floods and the wall killing a mother and child?
The Daily Guide. The Daily Guide is actually reporting this morning that what happened yesterday, the rains we saw, actually, there's this particular school at Newtown The school's name is Kwame Nkrumah Basic School. How ironic that the man who planned properly Ghana in his time. It's his basic school that has a wall, which has been a very defective state for a very long time. So the head porter, which is the woman I'm talking about here, and the daughter strapped to the back were seeking refuge by the wall, and the wall collapsed on them, killing the two instantly. In fact, people could not go near them because of the heavy rain that there was a drain by, so the police was a bit flooded too. So it took some time before they could get help from the police to retrieve the bodies and deposit them at the right place. Now, the assembly, the NADMO officer there in the Ayawaso Central, what they call it, sub-metro, is admitting that they knew of the war. They've been told several times, but they also needed to relate to the assembly and get help. They tried to do that on several occasions, but it didn't happen. And that they could have averted the death of the people involved in this particular case. But that's not the only place somebody died yesterday. The NADMO, I've spoken to them this morning, is reporting that a man in Adenta...
Is this the rain from 2 days ago?
No, not just yesterday.
Just yesterday?
Yes.
Right,
I mean, yeah. And somebody died at Adenta. The person actually fell into a drain, then carried away, and they found the body later on. That was the other incident that's happened. Now, between January and March this year, even into April, 12 people are reported, according to NADMO, have died from these flood-related incidents, and we're still counting as we decide to do very little about fixing the problem. Indeed, yesterday the NDC issued a statement and said that they wanted both the ministers for Works and Housing and also Minister for Water and Sanitation removed from office, or if they don't resign, they should remove them from office, and action now is what they are demanding. You know, on Monday, the president, last week Monday rather, the president and dredge masters went to the Odo to say that we are going to clear it. Along the line, earlier in March, the mayor was said to have said we are not prepared and that we don't have, we have not done all the things required for us to get into the system. But hey, this is Ghana.
Let's be clear, the Odo is only one of the drains that need to be cleared in order to keep our city dry.
Yes, and speaking of the Odo, 2.5 million people in the Odo River Basin are about to benefit from the Greater Accra Resilient Integrated Development Project. So $200 million has been approved. It was approved yesterday by the World Bank, and what it's supposed to be doing is to benefit dense urban settlements and increase economic activities. Now, we have about $3.2 billion worth of economic assets at risk at the moment in Accra when it floods, and so the plan really is to clean up all the river basins, do the desilting. It doesn't really go into details when it comes to things like removing houses on waterways and the things that actually have to be done to bring permanent change to the problems of the flooding. What we do know is that we have $200 million. Sorry. So what they're also going to do is create upstream retention ponds. They're going to do performance-based dredging, rehabilitation of selected drainage channels and bridges. And it's interesting because when you go around and you look at some of these what are they called, gutters and basins, you find that a lot of the pipes that have been there for a very long time, and the rubbish has sort of grown around it. So there's mold, there's grass. I mean, it's a whole habitat, and you find that the habitat then draws a lot of water, draws a lot of rubbish. Sorry, but Kojo, the other thing that comes to mind when we talk about this is, even though we're going to be putting money in it, how much of that money is going to go into changing the mindsets of people? Yesterday, I was driving along between Circle and Obechebi again, and I found that on the side of the road, covered in the little tiny gutters, full of pure water sachets. I actually drove slowly just to observe what was going on at the side. And when you see, and you know, there was a video as well about the flooding. Whilst the gutters, the water was gushing through, there was a woman pouring rubbish into it. And so I'm wondering how much of this money is going to go into changing the mindset.
Let's be clear, this kills, okay? This is not just disgusting, it kills. By the way, I've got some confirmed information from NADMO. In addition to that story about a woman and her baby being killed by the falling wall, there are others. A man and his son died at Newtown cluster of schools when a wall fell on them yesterday. A young girl fell into a pit during the rain on Wednesday at Adenta, and she died. She's between 15 and 17 years old. Gone. At Kanda, a wall fell on a woman and her son and 5 other people. That was yesterday. 2 of them are in critical condition at Ridge Hospital. The rest were all sent there as well. But 2 of them currently
This is not the
fighting
peak of
for
the
their
race.
lives.
This is not the peak of the
No,
race.
there's
Yeah.
worse to come.
Absolutely. Now, from floods, let's go to accidents. The Wager Circuit Court has sentenced, has fined a man who carelessly knocked and killed a 35-year-old Najat Abdul. Now, the convict is Michael Amwaku, and Michael Amwaku is to pay 1,200 Ghana cedis, or in default, yes, 1,200 Ghana cedis, or in default, serve a 12-month jail term. And he's supposed to pay this money forthwith, that's immediately. Otherwise, if he doesn't pay, he will go to jail. And Michael Amwaku was driving on the Kasua Road, and according to prosecutors, he drove inconsiderately. So he was actually charged with careless and inconsiderate driving and negligently causing harm. These are the 2 offenses he was charged with. He, according to the story by Edward Aqua of the Daily Graphic, he appeared in court, appeared remorseful, and then the judge said that, I take into consideration the fact that he, Amwaku, is a first-time offender and that he pleaded guilty to the charges, thereby not allowing the case to be dragged at the expense of the court's time. This is what was taken into consideration when this fine was being imposed on him.
But he killed someone, right?
Yes, but you see, this is a problem I have been talking about, and sometimes Raymond says that I am engaged in purposeless lamentations. We had a Road Traffic Act which we amended. We amended the Road Traffic Act, reducing the fines by 90%. So this 2,200 should have been 12,000 Ghana cedis, but it's now 1,200.
Unbelievable.
Now, the 12 months that he would have served in jail, multiply it by 9 times. That's what he would have served in jail term. But what do? We amended the act because there were complaints about the fines being hefty, and some drivers went to jail on account of being not able to pay. So we amended the act and reduced the sentences. This is what happened. Somebody has been killed. If this person had stabbed this woman with a knife, he would have been charged with murder.
Yeah. This is what
But he
politics
drove
does,
carelessly and inconsiderately. He himself pled guilty. 1,200.
Unbelievable.
He will go scot-free.
Oh, God, right. Okay, let's decompress with something that doesn't have anything to do with death.
Yes.
Seize opportunities offered by CFTA.
Yes, the Continental Free Trade Area, yesterday it came into force. Now, the entire continent, 54 countries have agreed, of course, only 24 signed on to it to ratify it, have agreed to make sure that we trade among ourselves in Africa.
Right.
Intra-African trade is the lowest among all continents in the world. We take all our goods outside, we don't benefit from it as much as we ought to do. So the markets are very limited for us out there. The good part is now we're going to have some 1.2 billion people having a single market. Again, we are looking at some $2.5 trillion of GDP in all of this space. But there are more details than that. We are having 6 protocols. One is on the goods itself, services and how it's supposed to be delivered, dispute resolution. There's also a part to do with competition and intellectual property. Investment negotiations are also important in all of this space. So what we're basically saying is that instead of taking our goods from Ghana or Nigeria taking salt from Brazil, Nigeria can take salt from Ghana.
Right.
And the banned products between Ghana and Nigeria will reduce tremendously. Nigeria has banned 42 different products from Ghana.
Unbelievable.
Products we could take there, but are taking it elsewhere. And we have also banned a little over 22 or so. So all of this is going to be broken down so that you can go to Arusha or whichever place to do proper trading, and the continent can be together and be of benefit to everybody.
That is why we are hoping to increase rice production and be able to export rice from Ghana by 2023.
Which rice?
This is
our Ghana rice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and government has put in place a lot of measures that is increasing rice production.
Right.
The Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Use Frie, announced this yesterday. Ghana spends $1.5 billion a year to import rice. What the government is doing is to try and reduce rice importation by increasing rice production locally.
Right.
And the agenda is to encourage farmers, supply them with seeds, supply them with fertilizers under the the
Planting for
Food and
Jobs.
Jobs, and all of that, so that they can produce a lot of rice. And I can testify to this. I had a conversation with the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana yesterday.
Yeah.
So many farmers have gone into the Yaraba, Bedembilisi valleys, and they are producing thousands and thousands of acres of rice.
Right.
And MOFA is making these materials available to them, the rice seeds and the fertilizers available to
Right.
them. Myself, I'm doing a few acres there as well.
Nice.
Yes.
So quantity is going up. How about quality?
Yes. So in terms of the quantity, he's talking about 567 tons of milled rice. That's what we require to, and this is to reach 1,665,000 tons by 2023. That's what the target is. And he says that the minister says at the beginning of 2017, the growing season, a total of 1,698 tons of rice seed were made available. That number went up to 2,400 tons that was given to farmers. The number is projected to go up in total 6,825 tons of certified rice will be distributed this farming season to farmers to produce more rice.
Nothing about quality, though.
No, I think the quality is great because a lot more people are consuming locally produced rice because it's more nutritious. It's not processed to the extent that the imported rice is processed.
All right, then. So let's move on. And Parliament was busy yesterday, right?
Yes, so Parliament has been bearing its teeth at one-man churches. And even yesterday, Raymond talked about it and the fact that they're looking to protect people and regulate activities of the churches. And there are about 10,000 churches in Ghana at the moment. And the main concerns are the noise making, the supposed duping of their church members, and all the ridiculous things that some of these one-man churches get into. Different members of parliament have been speaking. A member for Ningo Prampram yesterday spoke to MFA, and he was talking about the fact that there are elements within the religious space in the country that we need to tread cautiously on, but respecting the faith. And so it's an argument that still continues to rage on.
No doubt, a debate that we ourselves will probably be dipping our toes into at some point in life. But it's time for the online review brought to you by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goyle Good Energy. Good morning to our friends at Goyle. Congratulations on the massive profits last year. By the way, Goyle says you can make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from Goyle, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. Goyle Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you could get a guarantee of extra quality with their fuel analyzer from their mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of Goyle's over 360 service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy Goyle, grow Ghana. Goyle Good Energy. Goyle Yenara Yedia. Now you can go light with Zenith Bank and have dinner on them at the plush African Region Hotel. Now, isn't that exciting? To enjoy this offer, simply use any MasterCard to make a minimum purchase of 500 Ghana cedis on a Zenith Bank POS at the African Region Hotel and be rewarded with a free dinner or a discount of 100 Ghana cedis on other meal options. Visit the African Region Hotel today. Use any MasterCard on a Zenith Bank POS and have dinner on Zenith Bank. Go light with Zenith Bank. Pay light. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Right, let's see what's cooking on myjoyonline.com this morning. Government to wage war against crime with 8,000 additional CCTVs. Right, car owner driver fights over, and KNUST student develop vehicle passenger occupancy detection system. Interesting. So if you own a vehicle, a public transport vehicle, you can monitor how many passengers your driver takes. Okay. BBC.com has a few stories. Yeah, actually, it's not a bad innovation. Hopefully, it can be applied to other things as well, not just public transport and so forth. A bit more accountability there. BBC.com has these. GM fungus rapidly kills 99% of malaria mosquitoes. That's according to a study, and that should be good. Add that to the vaccine, and we could possibly be living a malaria-free life in the very near future. That'll be a relief for you, Malik, won't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because Raymond can give us
you can't
figures.
afford mosquito net.
I actually can't sleep in it. I can't breathe when I sleep under a net.
Yeah.
I struggle.
I get
So
claustrophobic.
when I heard the story on the BBC, I was like, okay, 99% of mosquitoes population reduced with this.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then the 1% will send to Raymond's house.
It would be absolutely amazing if we could do that, especially for the people who are at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital who are sleeping outside with no mosquito beds and on no beds, mosquito nets and no beds at all.
Wow.
So yes, even if it's just for their sake, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it just?
Yes.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Mosquito beds.
And listen, all of you, have a good weekend. Some of you will be coming back later.
Yes,
won't
yes,
you?
yes, we will.
Well, until then, though, let's hear a few ideas on how you can spend your money this weekend.